Good morning. This is Beth Wright coming to you live from upstate New York for our Tuesday morning Hatha yoga class. And let's go ahead and begin by opening our class with one Om. So come into your easy pose, seated with your spine straight, palms together at your heart. And let's just close our eyes. Take a couple of deep breaths into the belly before we chant Om. And now inhale. Connect to your higher self just by saying, I am connected to my higher self, my I am presence, and Mother, Father, God. And now let's ask our higher self to open our channel to the earth by saying, please open my channel to the earth. Connect my base chakra and earth star to the heart of Mother Earth and the new earth crystalline grid. And then open our channel to heaven by asking our higher self to open my channel to heaven by connecting my crown chakra and soul star to the great central sun. And when you ask, they will do it. It's a matter of building your relationship with your higher self and trusting that what you're asking is happening. And now go ahead and set your intention for your practice this morning. And when you're ready, open your eyes. And now let's go ahead and reach both arms up overhead. And then look up and reach with your right arm up as if you're trying to touch the stars. And then inhale, reach up with your left arm, fingers trying to touch the stars. And then inhaling, exhaling back and forth, just reaching with one hand and then the other. We're just stretching the body up. Sits bones planted firmly on the earth as you reach and stretch using the breath. Good. And now bring your palms back to your heart center. And then let's take our fingertips out to touch with our arms at a diagonal. Plant the left hand and reach the right arm across. Little sideline body stretch. Just a few breaths here. And pressing up to the other side. Plant the right palm and reach the left arm across. Deep breaths, your right elbow is bent to support. Coming back up to center. And now bring both legs out in front and just shake your legs out. And we're going to do a seated twist. So let's take the right foot and cross it over the left leg, flexing in the left foot. The right foot is above or below the knee, but not at the knee joint. Sit up nice and tall, and then your left hand can grab onto your right knee Right arm comes behind you. Reach up through the crown of your head as you twist. Both sits bones are planted here. And whenever we do any twists, we're always twisting from the mid back up, never from the lower back. Keeping that left foot flexed and your left leg is active. Deep breaths into the belly. One more deep breath. And release. And let's do the other side. Right leg comes out. And take the left foot across the right leg, either above or below the knee. Hold on to the left knee with your right hand. And then your left arm comes behind you. You're planting your palm behind you with the fingers pointing away from your body. Flex in the right foot, lift up through the crown of the head, and twist to the left. Upper body is doing the twist. Deep breaths. And one more deep breath, twisting a little bit further around. Good. Coming back to center. And now bringing the soles of the feet together. Draw those feet in toward your body as far as they'll go. And you can take your hands around your feet and just flap your knees a little bit here. Sitting up nice and tall. And we're just going to slowly bend forward, rounding the back. Leaning forward, draw the head down, allow the back to round, and then just come down as far as your body allows you to naturally without forcing anything here. You're going to feel the stretch in the hips and in the low back. So let's take some nice deep breaths into those areas. And you may notice that with every breath, you can lower just a little bit farther down. Two more breaths. Good. Go ahead and roll up nice and slow. And then cross your ankles and we'll roll out over the ankles. Come onto all fours into tabletop. Moving nice and slow. Your knees are underneath your hips. Your hands are underneath your shoulders with your fingers wide. And we're just going to do some hip circles here. So take your hips over to the right and then sink back on your heels. And now over to your left and then come out over your hands, lowering your hips down to the mat. And then again, you're going to take your hips back. So just adjust your stance here so that you can get those hips down to the mat. Circles going around to the right using the breath. And we're just sort of warming up the whole body. And now around to the left. Take your hips around to the left. Sit back on your heels. Around to the right. Lower. And a few of these. Engaging the breath. And hips come back. Sit down on your heels now with your knees about hip width apart and your arms are stretched out in front of you. And now we're going to walk both hands over to the left. Keep sitting with your heels on your heels. Arms are straight. Walk the hands over to the left and now plant the hands and draw the right hip back. It's another side stretch in the body. You're going to feel it right down the sideline through the right armpit or the side of the shoulder, all the way down to the right hip. Deep breaths. Good. And now slowly walk your hands back to center and then over to the right. Arms are straight. Plant the palms and draw your left hip back slightly, and you'll feel that stretch right down the sideline on the left-hand side. Deep breaths. Good. Walking your hands back to center. Let's go ahead and move along the mat with our nose, going forward so that we come all the way down onto our belly with our chin on the mat. Bring your arms down alongside you, palms facing down. And if you have any neck issues here, you can always put your forehead on the mat like this. If no neck issues, chin on the mat, let's raise this right leg up. Your hip bone is still connected, the leg is straight, and it's only like 6 inches off the mat. Holding it there, and let's breathe. Relax your neck, relax your jaw, relax your shoulders. Good. Lower the right leg down, raise the left leg up. Same thing, the leg is straight, hip bone is connected, and breathe. Relax the upper body, and you're just really working from your hips down. Good. Lower this left leg down. And now make a pillow with your hands. Turn your head to one side and let's just rock our hips back and forth. And now bring your left hand underneath your left shoulder, your right arm out to the side in a T position, palm facing down. And you're going to bend through this left knee and go ahead and roll open. Step that left foot back, and you're going to work the pose right here. You absolutely cannot do it with a bent arm. It's very awkward. All right, so relax your head, and you can take your left arm back if it feels comfortable to you. If not, keep that left hand underneath the left shoulder for support and just breathe into the right shoulder. We're opening the front of the right shoulder. It will increase the stretch if you take your left arm back to open both shoulders. So every day is different, and you just want to feel into what your body needs on this day. And since there's no competition, you're just working with your own self, just honor what you're feeling. And by the way, there's never any competition in yoga. Even when you're in a room of 20, 30 people, you've just got to stay centered and tune into what your body needs, leaving the ego out of it. Good. And let's bring the left hand down underneath us to support as we roll back onto our belly. And now we're going to do the other side. So place the left side of your face on the mat. Left arm comes out to the side, palm facing down. Right hand underneath the right shoulder. Bend through the right knee and roll open, stepping that right foot back. Stay right here with your head relaxed, neck relaxed. And then focus on the left shoulder. And if you want to reach that right arm back, you can. It's a really good opener for the chest. Obviously, if you have shoulder issues, you're not going to be doing this. Any shoulder issues, you never want to go to the place where you're feeling pain. So check in with your own body. Deep breaths into the belly. Good. And then let's bring that right hand back down to support. Roll back onto the belly. And now reach both arms down on the mat. Legs are straight. And we're going to lift everything up. If you have a lot of flexibility and you can interlace your hands behind your back, go ahead and do that. Keep your heart lifted and your legs are lifted. Deep breaths. If you can't interlace your hands, no problem. Just reaching your hands back and down as you lift in the chest and breathe. Good. And now let's make a pillow with our hands. Turn your head to the other side and then just rock your hips back and forth. And now come up onto your elbows. So your elbows are directly underneath your shoulders. Forearms are straight forward. And we're going to come into Sphinx Pose here. So go ahead and draw your heart forward. Stay lifted up through your torso so that you're not collapsing into the shoulders. Lift your chest. Draw your heart forward. You're going to press slightly down into the hands and forearms. Everything is lifted in the upper body. And you're going to feel this on your pubic bone. So your pubic bone is pressing into the earth. Now point your toes and keep drawing the heart forward as you breathe. And relax the pose. Okay, now we're going to come into dolphin pose. So from here, tuck your toes under and you're going to lift up into plank, forearm plank. And now lift your hips up and begin to walk your feet towards your body. Your shoulders will come more over the elbows. Come in as far as you can and not any farther. And from here, you're on your tippy toes. This is dolphin. And if you want to take the right leg high, this is building shoulder strength. If your right leg does not come up, just stay on your tippy toes and work it here. Nice deep breaths. Come out of the pose anytime you need to and come into child's pose. Right leg down and then raise the left leg up. A few breaths here. Left leg down and then go ahead, drop your knees. Sit back on your heels in child's pose. Forehead on the mat. Hands come down by your feet. Good. Bring your arms out in front. Roll up into table. And now tuck your toes. Let's take it up and back into downward dog. Pedaling through the feet. One heel down and then the other. One heel down and then the other. And press away from the hands. Keep the breath flowing in the body. Opening up the back of the legs. And now reaching the heels down. Okay, now we're going to do a wide-legged downward dog. So take your feet to the edges of the mat. The outside edges of your feet line up with the outside edges of the mat. When we do a wide-legged downward dog, we're giving our legs more room to sink our heels down, right? And go ahead and press away from the hands, extending through the arms and shoulders, and really feel those heels reaching for the mat. Breathe. So you're pressing away from the hands, planting the heels. Good. And now let's roll it right out into a wide-legged plank pose. You're coming onto the balls of the feet. Nice long body. Shoulders are over the wrists. Breathing here. And then back into wide-legged downward dog. A few breaths here. Roll it back into plank, feet wide. And we're going to come into a side plank. So roll onto the right hand. Now your legs are staggered. This gives you more balance. So see, I've got 1 foot way back and 1 foot way forward. And the left arm comes up. The modification for this pose is to have your right knee down. Left arm up, shoulders stacked. So just notice what your body is asking for today. And breathe. Plant the left hand back down. And we're going to do a wide-legged left hand side plank. All right, rolling over. The outside edge of the left foot comes on to the mat, and the inside edge of the right foot comes onto the mat. Modification is left knee is down. Right arm is straight up, shoulders are stacked. Good. Plant the right hands. You're back in your wide-legged plank. And now drop your knees. Bring your toes together. Widen the knees the width of the mat now. And then sit back in child's pose. Melting the heart down toward the earth. Forehead on the mat, arms forward. Good. Now let's roll back onto our belly. So you just sort of sweep your nose along the length of the mat as you lengthen your body out. So you come all the way down onto your belly. And legs are hip width apart, hands underneath your shoulders. Coming into bow pose, Danurasana. Bend through both knees and reach back with both hands to grab onto the feet or ankles. And now lift everything up. Press the ankles into the hands, heart lifts. So in this pose, we are squeezing the kidneys in the back. That's a wonderful way to tone them and to also squeeze out any toxins that need to come out. We're also strengthening the back muscles, the glutes, and the hamstrings. We're opening the shoulders, we're opening the front of the thighs, and we're toning also the bladder area and the abdomen. Breathe here. Lots going on in this pose. It's also a heart opener. Good, and now release. Make a pillow with your hands, turn your head to one side, and let's rock those hips out. Hands underneath your shoulders, legs come back to hip width apart. Tuck the toes, let's take it up and back into downward dog. All right, we're nice and warm at this point. So let's, from here, raise this left leg high. Bend through the left knee, and then rotate the left foot in a circle. Now, if that's not available to you, just do what you can. If you can bring the leg up here, great. If you can stack your left hip on your right, go ahead. And we're going to step that left foot forward, all the way up into low lunge. Right foot is back, and you want your 90-degree angle here with your knee over your ankle. Plant your right hand underneath your right shoulder and raise that left arm up for a twist. And again, we're twisting from the upper body, extend through that back leg. The toes are firmly planted, and you want that leg straight. Twist from the upper body and breathe. Good. Lower the left arm down. And we're going to plant that right foot back down at an angle for Warrior One, Virabhadrasana 1. So the foot is at an angle and it lines up with the right hip bone, not the back of this left heel. So that you've got a nice balancing stance for when you press into this front leg to come up into Warrior One, hips and shoulders squared to the front of the mat. And now sink into this left leg, and your arms come up, lifting through the heart. Nice deep breaths. You're going to feel your thigh activate. Now let's pay attention with what's going on in the back foot. So you are probably going to feel the pressure all along the front big toe, the right toe, big toe, and the ball of the foot on the left-hand side. Reach the right side of the foot for the mat. So that's going to spread out the weight there. Can you feel that? Lift the heart. Pull up through the Mula Bandha, squeeze up through the perineum, the sex organs, squeeze that up. That gives us our inner lift of our core. Good, and now straighten through that front leg. And now pull that back foot in a few inches. So you have the same stance, it's just a little bit shorter. This is called pyramid pose. So this front left foot is facing forward. The back right foot is in an angle. we're going to come down over this left leg, nice and slow. So you want to have your blocks handy, and you can put them one on the outside edge of the left foot and one on the right hand side. And now with both legs straight, pressing into the feet, let's slowly begin to come down over the left leg. Hands will come to your blocks. And press into the feet. As you lengthen out over the center line, you're going to feel a stretch right up the left leg. Good. And now for reverse triangle, take your right hand. We need to demonstrate this with a block. Take your right hand onto your block. Now your block can be high side or low side. And it can be on the inside of the left foot or the outside of the left foot. So you decide what works for you. And then place your hand on that block. Feet stay planted, press into them to get your foundation for the pose, and then open up your left arm. Now your sacrum here is going to stay nice and flat. Remember, we're just twisting from the upper body. Feet are stable, legs are stable as you breathe. Good. Lower that left arm down. Move your block. And let's come back up to stand. All right. From here, we're going to do a pose that we haven't done before. It's a little bit more advanced, but we seem to be having kind of a challenging class today, so I'm just going to go with it. All right. This is called Nataraj, which is dancing Shiva. So you're going to need a strap. And the first part of the pose, we're balancing on the left leg. And we're going to loop this strap around the right foot. Okay, so I'm just going to demonstrate it. Come to stand on the left leg and balance here. Now you're going to just bend the right knee and reach for the foot with the right hand. Here the option too is to put the loop around the foot, the strap around the foot, and then that way you're holding the strap that's around the right foot, you're balancing on the left leg. And now you're going to raise this right leg up. Okay. Don't do it like that. That was a demonstration to show you what to do with the strap if you start to fall. You got to let go. Just let go of the strap. All right. Now, I highly recommend that you have a wall or a chair to hold on to as you do this. You can also just use your hand. Okay, so if you are working with the hand is on the outside of the foot, grabbing the right foot with the right hand, balancing on the left foot, and now slowly begin to raise that right leg up. As you lean forward, chest is lifted, head is lifted, and you've got a nice balance. Then, okay, now I'm holding on to this wall. Breathe. And then come back and step out. Okay, that is challenging. So the modification for this pose now is to stand on your left foot, balance, raise the right foot up, hold on to it with the foot or the strap, and then you could be right here. Okay, you don't have to go all the way down. Wherever you are, wherever you're working the pose, that is perfect. So it can be as simple even as standing here, holding onto the foot. You got options. All right. So let's do it together. Balance on the left leg. Raise, if you've got your wall or a chair in front of you, raise that right foot up, grab onto it with your foot or your hand or your strap, and let's move into the pose. Head and chest stay lifted. And then slowly coming out. Good. All right, Nataraj. Dancer pose. Good. Now come back to the top of your mat, feet together, palms at the heart. Just going to do a vinyasa here. So inhale, reach up with both hands, slight back bend. And then forward fold. Hands come down to the mat. Step the right foot back into low lunge. Plant the hands, step into plank pose. Downward dog. And now we're going to reach both heels down, raise your right leg up high. You can either be here or you stacking the right hip on top of the left. Bend through the right knee and rotate that left foot in a circle. Straighten through the right leg and step the hand all the way up now into low lunge. Left hand plants underneath the left shoulder. Modification for this pose is to have your left knee down on the mat and you raise your right arm up to sky. Otherwise, the knee is lifted as you twist the upper body and breathe. Good, and lower that left hand down. And now we're coming into Virabhadrasana 1. Plant the left foot at an angle. And when you're ready, go ahead and press into the front leg and come up into your Warrior 1 pose. Sink into the right leg. Now, get that weight even on that back foot. So reach the outside edge of the foot down for the mat so it balances out back there. And you're going to pull up through the Mula Bandha. Squeeze up. And now raise the arms up. Lift through your heart. Bend into this right leg and breathe. Good. Straighten through this front leg. And now we're going to step this back foot in for a shorter stance for pyramid pose. Get your blocks handy on either side. And then when you're ready, we're going to press into both feet and then come out over the leg. And you can put your hands on your blocks here, high side, low side, whatever works for you. Both legs are straight. Press into the feet and lengthen your torso out over the center line. Breathe. You're stretching, bending forward right from the hip crease. Nice deep breaths. Good. And now we're coming into our revolved triangle. So you're block is going to go inside of right foot or outside of the right foot, high side or low side. Left hand is going to come onto the block. And when you're ready and you've got your balance, remember your feet are hip width apart here. Your right arm comes up, press into the feet to strengthen the foundation. Do your best. Deep breaths. Good. Lower that right arm down. Bend into the front knee and come up to stand. And now we're getting ready to do our balance pose, which is Nataraj, dancing Shiva. So we have a Pisces full moon that we are in the shadow of right now. It was full yesterday. It's a very watery moon, boundaryless but dreamy. There's some other aspects going on with it too. But one thing I heard about, or I read about it, was that it is aligned with Lord Shiva. So that's quite an intense energy. And my girlfriend called me yesterday and she said, "Happy Pisces moon. Have you cried yet?" And so if you find yourself more emotional than usual on today or yesterday, just let yourself release, let your body release whatever it needs to. It's important that we get those emotions out. All right, so let's come to stand on this right leg, balancing here. And you can have your loop in your strap ready to put underneath your foot or around your foot. You sort of walk your hands. For some reason, it's easier for me to do it on this side than the other side. Now, you also don't have to use a strap if you don't need to. And so the first part of the pose, see how I've got this wall to my right here? This is kind of a nice setup. So then you can sort of have some support in the front as well as the side of you. Hold on to your strap. And we'll just start right here. Just getting that balance on the right leg with the left knee bent. Find your balance. If you want to just stay here for the duration of the pose, you can. Otherwise, go ahead and begin to lean forward, extending that left leg up behind you as your heart draws forward. You are leaning forward in this pose. And now the right arm is going to either come to the wall in front for support. You want to raise it up. It's going to open that left shoulder, stretching the left shoulder, keeping your left hip pointing down toward the floor. Om Namah Shivaya. So we give our gratitude to the great Lord Shiva, who is one of my guides. Good, now come back in slowly to stand. And then when you're ready, with control, release the foot, step onto your left foot. And let's come to the top of the mat. We'll do vinyasa on the other side. And Shiva is known as the destroyer of evil. So Shiva is a very intense, very powerful, great Lord. And palms at the heart. Inhale, reach up. Slight back bend, forward fold. Hands come down. Step the left foot back into low lunge. Plant the hand, step it back into plank. Downward dog. And then step the left foot forward. Right foot forward. Inhale up. Slight back bend. Hands to the heart. And now step wide on your mat. So turn sideways on your mat with your feet wide. And you want your toes slightly in and your heels slightly out here. You're going to do a forward fold. So your hands on your hips and you're going to lean forward. Now, your hands will come down to the mat, the earth. Now, remember again that your toes are in and your heels are out. We're going to do another twist here. And you have options. You can take your left hand to a block underneath you, however you want to do that. It's right in the center of the feet. And then raise your right arm up. That's one option. Or you can take your left hand to the outside of the right ankle and raise the right arm up. Breathe. Good. Let's do the other side. So either the right hand comes onto a block or the mat in the center with the left arm up, or you reach all the way across the outside of the left ankle, the left arm up, and breathe. Nice deep breaths. So Shiva will help to destroy the evil, quote unquote, the demons within yourself, so that you can be liberated and free to be your true self. Reach both hands now for the outside of the ankles. Draw your crown down toward the mat. Otherwise, your hands are underneath your shoulders on the mat. Drawing the crown down. Deep breaths. Good. And now plant your hands underneath you, walk your feet in, and we're going to come to sit down on our seat. So really that's the journey for each one of us, is to, it's interesting because it's like destroy the evil within, but the way I see that we destroy that evil is by loving all aspects of ourselves, no matter what. The unconditional love for the self is what will dissolve the demon. The demons within us just want to be heard, seen, listened to, understood, and accepted. And the closer you can get to them and give them your attention, these aspects, these shadow aspects of the self, when they show up, give them your attention and tell them that you love them and that it's okay for them to have whatever feeling they're having. That is how we integrate these aspects of ourselves, these demons. It's not by destroying them, killing them, or pushing them away. It's by embracing them, bringing them in, and offering them our love, our understanding, and our acceptance. And that is what truly works. So that's our work right there. And if our work is just to love ourselves, every aspect of ourselves, until it knows that it's loved and it's integrated, how hard is that? It's really not that hard. We just have to love ourselves. And I think that's our journey. All right, so we've got 10 minutes left. I would like to do a little meditation here. So go ahead and turn sideways. And you're going to roll all the way down onto your back. Let's hug the knees in. And let's rock a little bit side to side. Done lots of twisting today. So make sure that you stay hydrated, drink plenty of water. Just be kind to yourself. And now let's come into final Shavasana. Arms and legs out wide. And not just a little bit wide, but a lot of it wide. So sometimes in meditations, when I am lying, you can have seated meditations or meditations when you're lying down. And my guides get me to lie in star position with my arms straight out and my legs out wide, so that you're forming sort of that a star position with your body. And there's something about this position where the energy flows a certain way that they often ask me to get into this position. So I just obey. So try this star position today. And now, any final little movements that you need to make to feel comfortable and aligned on the mat as you allow your body to relax completely. Letting go of whatever you need to let go of. Feeling yourself completely supported by the earth. There's nothing to hold on to. There's nowhere to go. Nothing to do. No one to see. You're just deeply connected to your inner being. Yourself with a capital S. And now go into your heart center. Drop down. By setting your intention, you can just say silently to yourself, I set my intention to drop into my sacred heart. And in this center is where you will connect with all aspects of yourself. The ones you cannot see, and the ones you know well. And I want you just to say silently to yourself, to all of these aspects of you, I'm here. I'm listening. I love you. And saying silently to yourself, I set my intention to integrate all aspects of myself. And just be aware of how your heart feels. Be aware if there are any twitches in your body. Feel what's going on in your body. And again, say, I love you. I'm listening. I care. Let your heart soften. And now go ahead and take both hands and place them over your heart. And just pour on self-compassion, where you feel compassion for your own self. Compassion is not pity. Compassion is deep love and empathy, understanding for yourself, your own self, and all that you have been through. And if your heart needs to release now, go ahead and let it release. Let your body release. If any tears are coming up, allow them to be, because you want to honor every emotion. Allow yourself to have and feel whatever it wants to feel. And let it know it's okay. And just sending some love from your hands into your heart. It's supportive. You're holding your heart here. And I call in the Divine Mother Mary, calling in the Divine Mother to channel her unconditional love into your heart with pink light, rose pink. It's going to come through your hands now and into your heart. And just allow that energy to come in. Knowing that you are so loved and supported on your journey. And this is a way to connect deeply with your own self. And this is what we need. This tremendous amount of self-love, self-compassion, self-understanding, self-support. While we all undergo this transition and this transformation on the earth at this time. You can feel how connected you are right now to yourself. Feels good. All right, from here, go ahead, take a nice deep breath. Reach your arms long on the mat and your legs reach through your whole body, stretch. And then bend through both knees. Roll onto one side. And press up to your seated position. Coming up. Palms at the heart in prayer position to close the class with one Om. Breathing in together. I bow to the beautiful, powerful, and magnificent light in you that is also inside of me. Namaste. And thank you, everyone. I hope you have a beautiful full moon week. And thank you for showing up for yourself. And have a wonderful day. Lots of love to you. My name is Beth Wright, and you can find me at energyhealingteacher.com on the internet or on Facebook, Spirit Works Beth Wright. And love to have you here. Thanks. Have a great